And it's not that I don't like Jehovah's Witnesses. I was like, I think that the leaders are corrupt. I think that the leadership is corrupt. They're not to be trusted. Hey, it's Felice, totally awake, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, then welcome. If you've been there before, you know that I got my camera turned. Even though a lot of people have asked me to turn it this way, I never really just felt comfortable because I feel like I have to talk to the camera and I'm looking like this, as opposed to if it was the other way, then I could just look straight. But then if I look straight, I kind of look like I'm looking over there. I don't really like it, but let me know if y'all like it. Like, you can't see my Marilyn Monroe picture in the back because it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I like this, y'all. I don't know. Anyway, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I was going to tell you guys, like, what happened last weekend, or maybe it was a couple of weekends ago. But I didn't even want to tell y'all because it's just like, at some point, when asked, like, how did that happen? How did this happen? Or how did you get back there? Or, I just, when I thought about it, I just felt kind of like, that little saying on TikTok, I actually did it myself. Yeah. That's how I feel. Like, I actually did it myself. Yeah. I've been loving TikTok, okay? I just joined like maybe a little over a month ago and I'm like addicted. Like, that's just like the best place in the world, okay? Like, I love YouTube. I really, really do. But TikTok is just so like, everything is right there at your fingertips. Like, you can just scroll and see a bunch of stuff, as opposed to YouTube, you're just looking at thumbnails and when you're scrolling. But TikTok, you're actually scrolling into different videos, and I just think it's so cool. Like, you see so much on that site, and I've saw the activists, the ex-Jehovah's Witness activists, so I'm really proud of that. And I may go over there and put a little bit of my activism over there eventually, but right now I'm just looking at everybody else, and not necessarily Jehovah's Witness stuff. I had a couple of days where I was kind of binge watching that stuff, but it's so much other stuff to look at that I'm interested in until I can't stop looking at that stuff. But anyway, all right. Y'all know I've been talking back to my dad, okay, if you've been following my channel. And, just small talk, just checking on each other, maybe once a week or whatever, just to see how each other is doing or whatever. So I've been doing that. And, like a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to him, I was just, asking how my grandma was doing because, my grandma, they all live in that house together. My mom, my dad, and my grandma. It's been that way my entire life, ever since I was a baby. We moved back into my grandmother's house. Well, they moved back into my grandmother's house and added on to the house and been taking care of her ever since. I was like 8 months old when my grandfather died. But anyway, I asked, how's grandma doing? I just haven't heard her voice. How's she doing? Because he's the only one that was really speaking to me. I hadn't talked to any of them. I mean, my grandmother or my mother. Then I have my aunt that lives like 2 houses down, which she was like another parent in the house growing up for me. It was literally like I grew up with 4 different parents. So he said, she okay? Well, why don't you give her a call? See how she doing? So I'm like, okay. So I called her like a couple of days later. Well, I tried to call anyway. And my mom answered. Now, mind you, I have not spoke with my mom the entire year, okay? We're in April. And even last year, I can count the times on one hand that I spoke with her. I don't even remember seeing her, to be honest. I'm trying to think, when did I see her? I think I seen her back maybe in like last January of 2021. But other than that, I don't even remember seeing her. And I talked to her a few times, and it was very short, quick, straight to the point. I don't talk to my mom, and I had made my decision back in 2019 after me and her, because we used to go back and forth all the time, just talking about the religion and, just going back and forth. And she's trying to get her point across, and I'm trying to get my point across about how it's not the truth. So, you know, even then I had made up my mind that I'm done fighting. I'm done arguing. I'm done, because I was so tired of having these draining conversations with her. And I haven't. I really been sticking good to that. I really have. So I'm proud of myself for that. You know, and okay, so I called, and she answers the phone, my mom, and she's just like, "Hey, Felice," you know, and I'm just like, "How y'all doing?" "Oh, we good." "How y'all doing?" "Okay, we good." Then I asked, I'm like, can I, you know, can I speak to grandma's house? Let me speak to grandma. What's she doing? "Oh, I'll see if she want to talk. I'll see if she want to talk to you." So then I hear her like kind of talking to my grandma. And then my grandma's acting like she's about to go back in her room and get a heating pad and stuff. And then so my mom just is like, now, you know, I can hear them. You know, they have me on speakerphone. So then my mom is like, "Oh yeah, she don't feel good. She not feeling good, Felice." And I'm like, she's right there, isn't she? "Hey, grandma." I'm like, "You got me on speakerphone?" And then before she could even answer, I'm like, "Hey, grandma, how you doing? I love you. I hope you feel better." And then "Hey, baby, I love you too. Thank you." Then they try to soften it up. "Yeah, my mama she's just not feeling well." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I hope she feel better. I'll let y'all go." Then she's, hold on. I gotta ask you this." I say, "What? You still feel the same way?" I say, "What you mean?" She's talking about nothing. I say, "All right," and hung up. And, you know, after I got off the phone, I thought about how that conversation went. And I just told myself right then and there, I'm not calling them. Like, that's going to be my last time calling, for real. Like, I know I said this before, but I'm like, for real, like, what is the point in calling them? They don't want to talk to me. You know, like, I'm just trying to call and see how you're doing. I literally just want to say I love you, and I hope you're doing well. And my mom, and what pisses me off about my mom is she was not even raised in it. She was not brought into it until she was like 17, 18 years old. But I feel like she tried to act more gung-ho than like my grandma, who been in it. She wasn't raised in it either, but she was in it since she was 17 years old, and she's 93, you know. So she been in it a long time, you know. And then my dad, you know, his sister, his deceased brother, all of them was raised in it. But my mama tried to act like she more gung-ho and more strict when it comes to following the rules. Like, I'm going to make sure we shun my daughter. So I'm going to make sure my mother-in-law don't forget. I'm going to see, do she want to talk to you? It ain't bothering my conscience right now just to answer the phone and see what you want it right quick. But I'm going to make sure that it ain't going to bother my 93-year-old mother-in-law conscience, because when she go to rest, she need to have her conscience clear, and she ain't finna be just talking to you and messing up her chances for everlasting life, because you is an apostate, and she ain't about to mess up her chances living in paradise for you, daughter. I mean, and that's how I felt like she was talking to me. Like, just give my grandma the phone. Let her tell me if she don't want to talk to me. What do you mean you'll see? I see if she want to talk. Girl, just give her the phone. Like, ain't nobody extra that. And that's why I'm just like, "Oh, hey, grandma." You know? It's just, they are just crazy. But anyway, I'm telling myself, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to call him, whatever. I just talk to my dad. He the only one that's being nice, that, you know, acting like he want to talk to me. So just bump them, you know? And it's just crazy how you can't even try to call them without them. My mama had to say something. She had to. Like, you still think the same way? What do you think this is? And it's so insulting. She's done this over and time again, asking me, do I think the same way when she talked to me? Why would you think that I'm going to change my mind? I'm not. I found out that it was all a lie. I found out that this religion lets kids be abused because there's no second witness. You know, CSA. I mean, my daughter could have died if I was gung-ho and thinking that this was the truth, Well, I mean, she wasn't, because the doctors was going to give her the life-saving blood transfusions that she needed. But I could have felt guilty. I could have been beating myself up right now, every day, thinking, oh my God, I hope Jehovah lets me in paradise because I know that the doctors gave my daughter blood, even though she needed it to save her life. I hope that God just understands that wasn't my call. And if it was up to me, I would have let her die. Like, you want me to go back to believing that my daughter should have died and not received life-saving blood transfusions? Like, I don't know. Because to me, when you ask me, do I feel still the same way? That's what you asking me. You asking me, do you think I should have, now do you think you should have let your daughter die and not accept those life-saving blood transfusions? That's how I feel like you, that's what I feel like you asking me. Like, hell no. Like, no. Hell no. I have no regrets. I still feel the same way. I'm never going to change my mind. I'm never going to think that's the truth ever again, because it's the false. It's a lie. Like, y'all, and I'm getting upset all over again. I'm probably spitting and everything. I'm glad y'all ain't right here. Y'all can't feel no spit flying on y'all. But I'm just getting upset because these people are freaking crazy. Okay? So that was like a couple of weeks ago. Okay? So I'm not going to call them. Then yesterday, you know, because I've been talking to my dad. I miss my dad. I want to see what he was up to. Like, you know, like we've been doing. Just a little small talk, seeing what each other up to right quick. So I tried to call my dad yesterday, but his cell phone was dead. I called the house. Actually, I did it myself. Yeah. I did it myself, y'all. Why did I call the house? I should have just waited, called back again until, you know, his phone had gotten charged up or something. But I'm just like, let me just call the house, see if he answers the phone. And if he don't, I'm be like, can I speak to my daddy? Hello, may I speak to my daddy? Shoot, I ain't saying hello to nobody. Oh, if it's my mama, hello, may I speak to my daddy? If it's my grandma, hello, may I speak to my daddy? I don't got nothing to say to y'all. But nobody answered. And like a jackass, I kept letting the phone ring for longer than the average, because it doesn't even go to voicemail. I mean, I guess it does maybe after, I don't know how many rings, but not after like your average ring. It doesn't go to voicemail. I called the house phone. And nobody answered. And a lot of times my grandma's on the phone and she don't be answering the phone for people, especially not me. If I'm calling, I don't answer the phone for me. That ain't nobody important shit. That's an apostate. So anyway, I hang up. A little while later, my grandmother calls back. My grandmother calls back, y'all. And she's just like, hey, Felice, you tried to call me? And, you know, I didn't want to hurt her feelings, you know. I just was like, yeah, Grandma, I tried to call you. How you doing? But I really was not trying to call you. I was trying to call my dad. Because I had vowed not to even call you no more after y'all was both so rude to me. You know, my mama, your daughter-in-law, you know, y'all was rude to me, so I wasn't even going to call y'all. But anyway, I didn't tell her that right then and there. I didn't. But, so we just started talking a little bit. You know, I started telling her how, you know, it's amazing how she's the same age of that man. You know, he was born in 1929 as well. Dang it, I'll put his name at the bottom of the screen because I can't think of it right this second. But I was just reading about him, which I've learned about him before, about the youngest person that had been electrocuted. And I found this on TikTok too. I mean, again, I had heard this before, but they were retelling the story and saying that was the youngest person that had ever been electrocuted at 14 years old. And, you know, it was a black man, and he had been accused of killing 2 white girls, 11 and 8. And it was just a sad story how he was electrocuted and he sat on the Bible that he brung and all of that. So I was just, you know, making small talk about that and saying, yeah, Grandma, you was the same age as that man. And that's so sad and crazy how that happened to him. And I was just asking, I was like, do you remember that happening when you was a little girl? Do you remember hearing that story? Or do you remember hearing about it later on when they finally found out that, you know, that he was innocent? And then she was like, I think I do remember hearing about it when I was young, when it first happened. She was like, it was so much stuff that used to happen back then or whatever. And so I'm trying to just not talk about Jehovah's Witness stuff. I'm just talking about regular stuff, you know, just trying to have a little conversation. I didn't want to carry it on, but at the same time, I was glad to hear my grandma's voice because, again, I haven't heard her voice all year. I barely heard her voice last year or the year before that. Like, I mean, ever since I disassociated myself, I've talked to these people very little. And Yeah. So anyway, we keep talking, and then she's asking me, just like my mom did. She was like, you still don't like Jehovah's Witnesses? Now, in between the last time I talked to my mom, and my mom was saying, you still feel the same way, I talked to my mother-in-law, and I was telling her how that conversation went, and she was encouraging me to always choose love when I'm speaking with them. And she was saying, and I knew what she was finna say, what she was about to say, before she even said it, even though I didn't think that to say that until she was saying it out of her mouth, that I should have said this. But she said that instead of me just getting out the phone and being like, you know, what you mean? Oh, okay, and hanging up, I should have been like, what do you mean? Do I still love you? I'll always love you. I love you unconditionally. I'll always love you. Do I still feel the same way? I'll always love you. Of course, that will never change.
Okay, so right here, I just want to add, since I'm being, transparent, and I like to share the good and the bad, I just want to add that, I didn't speak with my dad about that conversation that I had with my mom and my grandma and how that went. I didn't mention how they hurt my feelings or how they were being rude to me when I tried to call. I just didn't even mention it. But I did tell him that I wanted some of his good old ribs that he make. He makes some good ribs with potato salad and baked beans, and it's just so yummy. And I hadn't had some in a while. So he actually made some for me and my family and brought us a bunch of food over. And I came outside and got it. And he came and saw the kids and stuff. I actually thought that I was going to go to his house to get it. So I thought that would give me an opportunity to see my mom and my grandma real quick. But I kind of think they didn't want me to come get the food, and that's why he brought it to me. But I don't know. But I did just want to share that because that was really nice. He actually brought it on Easter Day. I mean, he didn't say like Happy Easter or nothing like that, but that was the day he brought it.
And I feel like now, while I thought that would have been nice to say that, I wish I would have said that, but now it probably would have still turned ugly. We probably should have just got off the phone after that question. Like, what you talking about? Oh, okay, bye. I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Because once you give into that, just one thing, just like my grandma, I tried to do that with her because she asked me, so you still don't like Jehovah's Witnesses? And I'm like, well, Grandma, I never said, I love you. I love my family. I love my family unconditionally. No, but I'm talking about, do you not like Jehovah's Witnesses, though? Because you didn't became an apostate and da-da-da-da-da-da. So it was like no getting around that. Like, she wanted to say what she wanted to say. She wanted to ask me a question, and then she wanted to be direct. She wanted me to answer her directly. And I just had to basically tell her, like, of course I feel the same way. Do you realize that this is an organization that, would have let my child die had it been up to them? Like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I definitely, and it's not that I don't like Jehovah's Witnesses. I was like, I think that the leaders are corrupt. I think that the leadership is corrupt. They're not to be trusted, but of course she didn't want to hear it. I started talking about the CSA. She didn't want to hear that. She started asking me, have I ever been abused? And I'm like, no, I haven't, but I care about other people that have been abused. I care about other people, who've been hurt at the hands of Watchtower. And she's like, well, I wouldn't do that. If somebody would have hurt you, then I would have called the police. In fact, I would have called the police. And I'm like, I'm glad you say that. So you would have called the police, huh? So that lets me know that you're not in agreement with that teaching. I was like, so how would you feel if you were disfellowship for believing that way? Like, you should call the police. But she couldn't even really answer me. She was just all in her own world, not really hearing what I'm saying. And then she starts saying, this what you called me for? This what you called me for? And it's just like, okay, first of all, you start talking about this religion stuff. I did not. I don't. Y'all start doing that because y'all can't help it. Y'all got to talk about religion. Y'all got to put religion in it because your religion tells you not to talk to me. Your religion tells you that I'm evil and to shun me. That's why you got to bring religion up in it. Your conscience is not clear with you talking to me because in the back of your head, they in your mind telling you that I'm evil and not to talk to me. So it's never going to be at peace just trying to have a conversation because You think I'm an apostate, somebody that you shouldn't talk to, somebody that's evil and working with Satan, and Satan is my father and all of this stuff, because that's what your leaders have made you believe. Then, like I said, she starts to say, this what you called me for? And like I say, Grandma, you were asking me these questions. And then she said, but but I have to tell her, no, I wasn't calling you. I wasn't calling you. I was calling my daddy, because the last time I talked to you, you and my mom were very rude. I reiterated what happened, how it happened, and how that was just rude. You was right there. You could have said, hello. It's just like, y'all was just playing games with me, and it was rude. So I told myself, and I vowed to myself, that was the last time I was going to call you. So actually, I wasn't calling you. And, she told me, she kind of laughed, kind of chuckled like, and then she told me, okay, well, don't ever call me again then. I said, okay. And it's really sad, because my grandma is 93 years old. So, my family, they take my passion and my my eagerness for truth and just my passion. They take my passion for disrespect. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm going to be straight up. I'm not going to bite my tongue. If I get a little loud, they take it as disrespect. And I definitely I don't want to disrespect my elders. I don't want to disrespect my grandma. I hate that our last conversation is probably going to be my grandma telling me not to ever call her again. At the same time, I can't bring myself to call her back and be like, nothing. I can't be like, oh, grandma, I love you. I didn't mean it. Because I do. I do mean that I'm not going to call you no more. I do mean that you were rude to me. And I had made up my mind not to call you no more. And I really wish I wasn't even called the house with the possibility of you answering. Like, I shouldn't have done that. I did it myself. I shouldn't have done that. It's a sad thing, because I feel like, that cult has made me a certain type of way, because it's just changed me, where I'm just not, I don't have a lot of patience. I was talking to my mother-in-law, and, she thinks that I'm changing. We'll have conversations about something like recently, and I was getting kind of loud and passionate with her. And, she too felt like kind of disrespected, but I was just trying to get my point across, like, I just feel like I'm a grown woman, and I'm not trying to come off as disrespectful, but I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. When I'm passionate about something, you're going to hear it in my voice. I'm going to get a little louder, and that's just who I am. And I'm sorry that it comes off as like disrespectful, but I feel like, especially like with my parents, it's going to come off if I'm not going along with what they're saying, it's going to come off as disrespectful. They want me to be in agreement with what they're saying, and I'm not. So it's disrespectful to them. My grandmother, I do love her. However, that was our last conversation. And I'll just have to hold on to the good memories. I'll just have to hold on to her, to the love that she showed me, and when I was able to freely show her love, and I'll just have to hold on to that. I think that she knows that I love her, but I can't just call back and be like, sorry, because really I feel like I'm owed an apology. Like, how can you treat your granddaughter like that? You telling me I don't want to talk to you, you an apostate. I'm supposed to have respect for that. Like, you're not treating me like a grandmother should, but I'm supposed to respect you as a grandmother, though. Like, I didn't like curse. Like, I don't ever like curse them out or nothing like that, but I think just my tone and just like my passion in my voice, it comes off as disrespectful, But I feel like they made me like this. They made me like this. anything doesn't go with me, I'm going to talk. I want to tell you how I feel. I'm going to be passionate about it. I might get loud because that's how I be. Anyway, I was glad that my grandmother did not, I was glad that she was able to admit that she would call the police. I actually talked to my grandmother. I actually talked to my aunt after I got off the phone with my grandmother, just trying to see where her head at, which I haven't talked to her in years, even longer than I haven't talked to my mom. But she sat and talked to me for a minute, and she said she had been thinking about me and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm right here in town, you know. But she said that she actually did call the police on somebody before. And I was like, and she was like, and I didn't get this fellowship like you say I would. And I feel like those scenarios make it seem like that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know what I'm talking about because it's in the Shepherd the Flock book that they are supposed to call the branch office, not the cops. Because if you're calling, and I even told her, I was like, well, you brought approach on Jehovah's name then when you called the cops and it wasn't another witness, you know, according to your beliefs, you know. But I feel like they don't understand because they haven't seen these people's stories of, you know, times that they were abused and no one called the cops. You know, like these are real stories. You know, and I feel like if people have not dealt with it personally, there's just a lack of concern. It really is. Like a lot of people, they want so bad to believe that that is the truth, that they're just not concerned. They want to believe that that's not even true, that the 2-witness rule applies to a situation like that. They're like, that's if somebody was stealing or if somebody commit fornication and, you know, no, they applied it for CSA, which should have never been done, you know. But they don't get it. They don't want to believe that. They want to continue to believe the false narrative because that's what makes them feel comfortable and safe. But I'm concerned about the real truth, the nitty-gritty of things. And it ain't going to be, you know, peaches and cream. It ain't going to be just nice and pearly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be real and raw. And sometimes it ain't what we want to see. It ain't what we prepared for. But the truth, though, it's the truth. And I feel like it's the most important thing to be concerned about is the real truth. What really goes on. What really happens or doesn't happen. You know? I know this is long, guys, and I appreciate y'all listening to me. Thank you so much. It's Felice, totally awake. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think, and I'll be back with another video. Bye.